Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, welcome to the Beacon TV. Can't even talk today. Let's start again. Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, welcome to the Beacon TVL show, the weekly podcast from Beacon DeFi, your beacon in the world of decentralized finance. I'm your host, Professor Chris, the DeFi professor. And we've got a great show lined up for you to tackle the news of the week that's relevant to you, our dear users in the world of on-chain investing. Today on the show, we have Beck, the Lord of Developer Relations.
Stop it. Thank you.
The Lord of Developer Relations at BitTensor subnet number 8, the proprietary trading network in Glitch Financial. We have Ken back on the show. Welcome back, Kenneth.
Thanks for having me back on Beacon TVL. Excited to be here. Excited to talk about what we have today. A good show today. Always happy to be with Chris. And thanks again for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. And hopefully his tech issues are okay, even if his camera's not working. It's all good. We have returning to the panel as our featured panelist this week from BitTensor Subnet 65, the Tau private network, and he just left. We'll have the founder Mikkel join us, and we'll have him back on once he gets his connection right, because he is again the featured panelist. So while we do that and I get kind of some stuff set up, Ken, I wanted to ask you as part of our open, have you done anything new lately in the name of just trying to do something different?
Oh man, great question. Well, you're in luck because this past week I've done a lot new. Man, we started reading books. Trying to get back. Me and my wife.
Okay.
She's much more of an avid reader, but I've been trying to get on the book reading business. Just there's some good books out there, and I'm trying to increase my attention span. So one of the ways was to start reading. That, and I started a new video game. So pretty much all of the above.
Really? What video game did you just start using?
Silksong.
Silksong.
So if anyone's familiar with Hollow Knight, which it's like a Metroidvania, old. Well, I won't say old school, but it's a Metroidvania type game, sort of like the old Metroid Primes, where you're kind of going through these 2D levels, and this was just the art direction's awesome. And played that, and also doing a bit of reading.
Yeah, tell me about what you're reading.
I've been reading 1984.
So
yeah, a lot of people talk about that one. I think I read it a long time ago, but it's just not registering in my brain. So it's a great book so far. I mean, I've pretty halfway done. So make it a goal to actually finish this one. So 1984. Next up on the docket is Dune. So I'm going from I hear it's kind of a harder read, but like I said, trying to work on my reading and comprehension.
Love it. Well, for me personally, I decided to do something a little different, and I actually decided to do something that I've never done in my 47 years on this earth. For those of you who don't know, I am 47. I'm happy to dox that age. Shout out to all my older people here in crypto, Web3, and DeFi.
And I think I have more gray hair than you do. And I'm 34.
I don't think so.
No? Well, you haven't seen me since Austin, so you gotta. I got a whole sliver.
What's going on? What's going on there?
My father grayed early, but I didn't mean to cut you up.
No, you're good. I decided to bake a cake.
Cool.
I know that sounds very trivial.
Nice.
I've never baked a cake before. And in fact, I even did one from scratch. I decided to I was kind of fiending for a cake, and I'm like, so I asked Twitter, on my personal Twitter, which is @CSoriano, what's a good cake to make? And I said I was leaning towards carrot, and everyone said carrot. So I'm like, fine, we'll make a carrot cake.
Nice.
And the picture that's on my Twitter, if you want to check that out, 1 second. And it turned out great. I had cream cheese frosting. I will say I did follow a recipe, which you should, because I had no idea what I was doing. But I followed the Pioneer Woman. She always has some decent recipes, and I will say she She has a good one. I followed it all the way down to even toasting the nuts that went on top of the frosting and not in the cake. I did try. I did
Wow.
use some license. Instead of doing all white sugar, I did half white, half brown sugar. Add a little bit of ginger for some snap. But it was
Nice.
yeah, man, it was I was quite proud of myself. Now
Yeah.
I learned some lessons. Like my cake wasn't even close to being correctly flattened around because I didn't know you're supposed to like, tap down the pans so they actually, shape well. But
Nice. Let me ask
Mick,
you what. Well, I don't know if the icing for carrot cake has to be the cream cheese, but
it does not.
okay,
That's
my
what I
favorite
like.
icing. Yeah, that's my
I
favorite icing
I
by
like me
far.
some cream cheese. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because it said to add to 12 ounces of cream cheese, 1.5 pounds of powdered sugar. I'm like, what? It's like I was like 1.5 pounds. I'm like, I'm trying to die here.
For real. Sure
So
would have been good
I
though.
ended up like I think I did a cup. I started with a cup and then I tasted it. It was like still that was like way too sweet to be quite honest. So I think maybe half a cup or I even think 1.5 cups of powdered sugar was a lot. So, but anyway, it turned out great. I have new confidence in myself because I was able to complete this side quest here in life, right? Because I'd never I'd never. My wife, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, they're all fantastic bakers. I am not a baker, but now I feel like I could tear up some baking,
Man.
So we started with the cake. Don't know where we're going to go next, but I've done casseroles. That's a little bit different, but in terms of like pastries, I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is. I'm not going to go souffle or anything like that, but I might try some new things. So if you're looking for something to do to kind of break things up, because I've also been doing a lot more weightlifting and stuff like that, which is something I've not done. So I'm in week 4 of doing a lot of weightlifting. So yeah, man. Seek
Yeah,
discomfort. Go out
smashing.
and try
Yeah.
something new. That's the whole point of the open. So, Mikkel, how are you doing today, sir? How's your audio?
Doing good. I think I
All right,
managed.
we got
I
him. We
think I
got
managed.
him.
Yes.
Just to go back to the introduction, we do have the founder here of Subnet 65 on BitTensor, featured panelist for Tau Private Network. We have Mikkel. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Thank you. I did not expect to drop in here with two crypto bros talking about carrot cakes, but I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Well, let me
It's
ask you the question. Is there anything you've done over the past like week or like recently that's something that you don't normally do?
Oof. I picked up squash as a new
Oh,
sport.
nice. Very
Hit some
nice.
balls. Yeah, that's been
nice.
a new recent endeavor.
I like that.
Nice.
I like the one thing I like about squash and just racquetball in general is you can hit it off any wall you want.
Yes, any wall you want, as hard as you want, any
Exactly.
corner. Yes, careful with your knees though. For the rest, it's a fun game.
I gotta look this up. I never heard of squash, but
It's like racquetball, brother.
oh man, all
Have
right.
you ever
This looks
played
fun.
racquetball?
I have not.
It's tennis in a box.
Oh man. And I like
Although
tennis.
different because
Yeah.
it hurts. That ball does hurt. We're not talking like highlight hurt, but you might get hurt if you're not careful. If you get hit in the
Fine.
knee, yeah, I
No
mean,
pain,
Yeah,
no
one
gain.
there's
if the
strategy to it
ball
too.
if the ball hits you, it sort of feels like somebody shooting at you with a paintball gun. That's sort of
Yeah,
the
it's
Okay.
like it's literally a rubber bullet because it's a very hard rubber ball.
Yeah.
So man, you can get seriously sweaty in that. So really good. That's great.
yeah.
I like that.
And I have baked one carrot cake as well
All right.
a while back. Not in the last week, but a while back. And the thing that amazed me most is you have to put in some sort of vegetable oil, right? I used olive oil. And man, I think like one cake absorbed like maybe 300 or 400 milliliters of olive oil. I was like, are you sure this is the right recipe? Man, so much oil. It just kept on going in. But it turned out real nice. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
recipe didn't lie.
I did half vegetable oil and half avocado oil for my
Oh,
cake. So,
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Man, carrot cake is literally one of my favorite cakes. Like we have this we DoorDash way too much. But we have this place that we DoorDash from. It might be like 10 o'clock and we're like, we just want some carrot cake and it's kind of want some right now.
Kenneth, you gotta learn how to bake, brother.
I do. And it seems like it would be fun, you know? I mean, I that's something I've actually wanted to like get into. So at some
New
point.
skill unlocked. Well, let's get to the numbers, gentlemen. BTC back on the prowl with this new latest candle this morning. So we're seeing, at least on the 24, we're seeing some movement back up to reclaim 114 from where it was earlier this morning. This is a good sign overall. There's a lot of bullishness coming next Wednesday. You know, they're supposed to be, the Polymarket's calling it 100%. Let me pull it up. Polymarket is giving it a 100% chance that we are going to see a rate cut of looks like it's happening, but regardless of how much it's going to be, it looks like 25 bips is the yes. So you could hedge that bet by buying no on the 50 bips decrease if you're looking to find a way to quote unquote predict the market in a profitable way. So
So then, would it work to buy some of these no, and then just lever long Bitcoin on hyperliquid, and then doesn't matter what happens, you win?
you know, that's also another way to think about it, right? I mean, there's multiple way to hedge your bets, so that's definitely something you can certainly do in this case. So that's actually not a bad idea at all. I hadn't thought about, you know, obviously second and third order effects, right? That's something you may want to consider as, if you know, if you're listening to this for the first time and this is something that you are curious about. Some of these decisions specifically do correlate to assets. So yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic idea, Mikkel, to actually lever long on Bitcoin while taking the no on one of these. I think you want to choose the cheapest no, though. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Ken, what do you think, sir?
Well, I mean, I'm not funny enough at Taushi where there's a bunch of traders, but me, I've never really been much of a trader. I'm just kind of a buy and sit guy. So manage my emotions and my anxiety, so I just let it sit. But I got a good feeling. And if Polymarket's saying good things, 100%, then yeah, I don't think we're done.
Oh no,
My
we're
guts,
definitely not done.
yeah. My gut says we got some more room to pop.
All these people who called top, I'm like, that's crazy work, guys.
For real.
That's crazy work. Today we've
Excited.
got some decent moves. Pith is back up. This is on the day. AVAX is back up. Pump is on the way back up. On the week, Mix Finance. I'm not familiar too much with this product. I just know that there are multiple KOLs who fumbled an amazing opportunity with this. Same with Meme Core. So not really familiar with what Mix Finance does, but good luck to them on their journey forward as all these people are going to, barge in and speculate. We'll talk about WorldCoin in just a minute. I don't see IP on this list, but with regards to IP's down 7.5. Of course they are. And it's all on the news that, again, guys, Treasury companies, we've been following this for the last, I want to say 4 months, right, Ken? We're looking at these digital asset Treasury companies that are coming in doing pipe deals, which are like not like SPACs, but they are private equity with private investment placement on NASDAQ traded companies or any other type of U.S. publicly traded companies, and they're using them to create digital asset treasury companies that are wholly focused. We've seen this with what they're now called Hyperion DeFi for Hype, the company that did it for Tau, BNB, XRP, Pengu, Crow from the president, and brother, his company. Let's be very specific there. But I mean, we're looking at altcoin treasury season at this point. So IP, which has had a very interesting last 11 months at this point, because they came out with the major part of what they were doing at DevCon. Oh no, it wasn't DevCon. Was it DevCon? Yeah, it was DevCon last year. And a lot of people came. The hype was here and there. They had a very large footprint at ETH Denver. And then they kind of they've had some leadership shakeups, some people stepping back, and it caused IP as a token to drop quite a bit, but now it's back at an all-time high after we have Heritage Distilling, which is the ticker is Cask, by the way, guys, if you're curious. Through a pipe have come in. They've brought in new crypto or DeFi facing people like Phil Blows, that's a name, of B2 Capital. and then David Lee and Eric Zhang, former CoinMarketCap CEO. So, yeah, this pipe is 220 million, backed by A16Z, Polychain DAO 5, Arrington, Hashed, and Selene Capital. This is we're seeing more and more of these, Mikkel, come up. So I wanted to get your thoughts on. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about all this stuff?
I'm a bit two-sided. I'm a bit two-sided in the sense that any additional flows into crypto and any easy way of having exposure for a broader investment base in the more TradFi oriented spaces is a big plus. So I'm 100% happy that people are pushing to get these DATs on the market. And from what I understood, they're attracting lots of capital, which is not necessarily coming from within crypto, that is.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, every wave, every crypto cycle, something needs to initiate the bear market. And of course, I'm not trying to be party pooper, but all of this leverage being introduced into the system will at some point, or might at some point, cause a cascading downward flow. So I like the bullishness, I like the hype, I like the flows, but especially for the smaller assets and smaller DAT companies, if they do start trading below NAV and people want to get out, people start selling, they have to clear the books, they have to offload the crypto, which in turn then drives the price down, reducing NAV, and then it sort of spirals downwards. So for now, I like it. However, it does feel like something that might drag us down at some point, which is something to be monitoring actively, to the very least.
Yeah, in fact, just to bring this up with the other part of the story, Ken, we're looking at a situation where we could get a supremely hard landing if all of this starts to cascade and go in the wrong direction. The other part of this is Octo, which is from 8Co Holdings. They're creating a primary treasury pipe based on WorldCoin, which is Sam Altman's iris scanning technology for proof of humanity. This also is a layer 2 blockchain on the OP superchain, the world chain that the WLD token is based off of. So, talking about with what Mikkel just mentioned, I mean, we're looking in a situation where we're getting more and more of these specifically branded tokens through pipes. So if you had the opportunity to buy into that, that's fine. You can now buy that stock to get exposure to that. It still makes me wonder why they just don't go and just buy the token outright, right? And I think that's probably there's a lesson there for specific investors based on risks. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is this iris scanner, proof of humanity. Scan my eyeballs. I mean, you could do that from a camera.
Yeah, you've seen Minority Report.
Yeah, I mean, I just got the Pixel 10 where you could do a 1000x zoom. I mean, they could get my identity from. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's my first thought. That's my first inkling. Do I really like this proof of humanity thing? That's probably.
He's going straight for the product. I love it. I love 100%. It. So, what's interesting is also with a lot of these treasury companies is seeing who is really involved. So, Tom Lee with Bitmine Immersion is the biggest, leader of this specific round. And with regards to to whatever the product is, frankly, that's fairly small in most of these cases. So, yeah, this is actually these are all big moves. This is all bullish for crypto. And I'm very curious to see where we go from here. So thanks for the insight, John. We're going to go and move on. I want to say congratulations to friend of the show, Declan Fox, head of ecosystem at Linea. He's when we first met Declan, he was still working with Consensus on that side. But he's actually taken over a ship with a lot of cargo. And sir, you've guided this ship now to this TGE phase. So congratulations on that accomplishment. There is a claim for roughly about 9.4 billion in Linea tokens. The token drop is open for 90 days. You can check out in our show notes the link to the airdrop hub itself. If you've ever used Linea in any capacity, you are eligible. It is tiered. I believe there's 7 tiers. Yeah, based on your LXP. So if you did all of the Linea Park stuff, anything to bridge stuff over, testing in testnet, there's a lot of things that actually go towards these specific buckets. I want to say even just using MetaMask, bridging with swaps or anything, or if you use the MetaMask card anytime before June 30th, you qualified for some of the LXP. So if you've done any of that, feel free to check it out. Check out all your wallets. And obviously, congratulations for them to get to this point. I love this is a great hook. The token to power Ethereum's second decade. Again, we just celebrated Ethereum's 10-year anniversary this year. This is going to be the token for the next 10 years. But I did want to say as a quick reminder, yes, if you farmed Linea and you don't like your allocation, yes, it sucks when you put time and money in the ecosystem and get a poor airdrop. Just a reminder, guys, the mindset you should have is that these guys owe you nothing. And you can have an opinion one way or another to try and fud the price down, but they don't owe you anything. You have been doing their marketing for them. That's why you're going to be getting some quote unquote free money back, right? And that's what you should be looking at. So I'm not going to do a JD Vance and say you should be thankful, but guys, they don't owe you anything. So you got something awesome. That's why we do airdrop farming. So any thoughts, guys, before we move on?
No, nothing specific.
Really.
Nothing specific.
Nothing comes to mind.
Did either one of you farm? I mean, I did, but did either one of you guys farm Linea?
No.
I didn't. No. I mean, the thing is, once there was a saying when I'm not in crypto anymore, I'm in BitTensor. Like I
Fair
used to
enough.
be so deep into so many of these things, and it's funny that you said Ethereum had its 10-year anniversary, which is
Yeah.
wild to me because around in those early days. But yeah, just kind of this is why I like watching your show, Chris, because I can become aware of all these things, but a lot of times I'm becoming aware of them when I'm on the show too. So but yeah, no thoughts on my end, but
Fair enough.
interesting. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and move on then. So we talked about this on the show last week, but there was a very good chance, not a good chance, but there was a chance, an outside chance, that because they had become eligible, I want to say in June, that Michael Saylor's strategy company, or MSTR MicroStrategy, could qualify to be the latest entrant that was an opening for the S&P 500. To be honest, it was probably a supreme long shot because Robinhood and a couple of others, I have a picture here from James Seifert, the great ETF analyst from Bloomberg, pardon me, specifically on what groups were available to get that spot. Interesting that some of these others, Zoom, Pinterest, Toast, Reddit, Aries, Carvana, and AppLovin, to quote all the super bad fans, had a shot here too. Now, strategy didn't make it, although looking at their numbers, it looked great. Robinhood was the company that did get in, and they've been trying for a very long time to be included in the S&P 500. So congratulations to Robinhood. They have their layer 2 blockchain coming in the works for their quote unquote version of DeFi. I'll start with you, Mikkel. Any thoughts on it's great that Robinhood's in there because that does add some legitimacy now that they're really pushing into DeFi and crypto that can bring more of that legitimacy there to join Coinbase, who came into the S&P 500 in May. But had strategy made that spot, do you think it would have been an interesting butterfly effect?
Yes, I do think so. Yeah. Because in terms of like flows and capital entering the market, I think a lot of like let's say pension funds and insurance funds and like some of these behemoths where a lot of capital is being allocated, they are very conservative. maybe for good reasons, right? Because they're in it for longevity and it's not even their own money. But they do have access and exposure to an S&P. So then, if strategy would be in there, I think that would unlock a massive capital flow for them. And knowing Michael Saylor, if he gets some capital flow, he'll probably find a way to lever it up, which then has a positive spiral. So I think that would have been a very, very interesting one. But on the other hand, it didn't happen. And now the crypto market is still finding a good push upwards, which is maybe more organically. And then if crypto would have spiked too soon this cycle, maybe we wouldn't have gotten the highs or the sustained upward momentum that now we can hopefully maintain for a longer period of time. So then maybe it would have been more like a spike up, spike down. But we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Nice take. That's a good take.
No, it's a really good take, right? Because
Yeah.
and I think that's been Ken, I think it's kind of been a really good thing overall. Like, yes, the things are playing out the way we thought they would. I still think we see, 150 to 200 BTC on the table. Not financial advice, to your own research, of course, by the end of the year for BTC. But yeah, I mean, had strategy actually made in the S&P 500, I mean, they're literally just buying Bitcoin. Like, the amount of Bitcoin volatility we probably would have seen for the next 3 months probably would have been, I mean, chop hell, to be quite honest. So I think maybe this is a better, I mean, this is nothing wrong with Hood taking this spot, to be quite honest. It's been, it's been trying for a long time. Obviously, they're a huge part of fintech, with how things played out with Wall Street bets and all that. So
I'm a big fan of Hood. Yeah,
yeah.
Funny enough, I was listening to another stream 6 months ago, probably, and I was like, let me just. I had some capital in Hood, so I just threw some on Hood and just sat. So I mean, I'm quite pleased, of course, but yeah, I mean, I going back to what Gozi said, it'll be interesting to see, kind of how the market, behaves. I think, yeah, naturally, without kind of and funny, strategy's been on kind of a downturn since 6 months ago, so kind of the opposite of Hood. But yeah, it's yeah, I think we'll have a much more natural progression from here, which it bodes well for Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue into the next thing, because I wanted to talk a little bit about perps, Ken. Would you like perps?
I don't know much about it, to be honest with you.
Excellent. Well, in the event that you don't know much about perps and you like perps, Phantom actually came out with, and Phantom is our recommendation for the wallet we recommend for Solana to all of our communities. And for EVM, that wallet is Rabby. And Rabby, much like Solana, this thing needs to hold the zoom that I'm asking for, has now gone live on both the mobile, but as more importantly, the extension, access to perps. Now, I'm pretty much using the same API as Phantom is. They're using Hyperliquid perps. I'm pulling up the core wallet here that we use for all of our calls. It's located right here in perps. And you have the ability, it has an interface much like their gas account, which we love, which allows you to pay for all of your transactions in EVM with stablecoins. You just top it up with some money, and then you have access to up to 40x perps, long or short, depending on what you want to do. And I believe you do have access to all of the tools, like TPs and stop losses and whatnot. So,
Nice.
I mean, they're making it easier to get into perps. So, I mean, if you're looking to not only just do yield farming but also trade within the wallet, this is a really good way to do it. And of course, Hyperliquid being Hyperliquid, this is just more and more TAM for them, to be quite honest. So your thoughts, Ken, on having perps available in the pocket of your hand?
I mean, hey, give more to the people. I'm all for that. So hey, this is a good thing. Like I said, that tells you we're a bunch of traders, but I just have always buy and held just because of. So I'm not even 100% familiar with perps, to be honest with you. I mean, it sounds like maybe it could be like an options type thing, but hey, the more that we give to people, I'm all for it. So that's one
Well,
of my
let
biggest
me
things.
define perps for you. This is
Please
something we
do,
talk about.
please.
This is something we talk about in our workshops. We have a specific workshop dedicated to perps in our beacon mastermind. And specifically, a perp is something that's DeFi native, something that you're not going to you'll find it in TradFi, but in TradFi. So basically, what a perp is, it's a DeFi option. Like in TradFi, you can have a call or a put on an asset. Generally, when you do that, there is a time limit on it, right? You can call an option or you can call an option for a specific time frame for a specific stock. Well, you can do that in DeFi with synthetic assets, but the thing is that there is actually no time limit. You just have to hold a long or a short position. You just have to pay what's called a funding fee based on your long or short position to help keep everything on the perp dex in balance. So that's what that goes towards. So that's really the long and the short of it. That's the very high level view of it. But in general, it's not owning the actual crypto asset. It's a derivative asset. It's a digital asset that's pegged to the value, and it allows you to take specific amount of leverage, long or short, even as small as zero, with regards to perps. So, Mikkel, I know you're a fan of Hyperliquid, so you are familiar with perps, sir, as Hyperliquid is the largest perp dex on the planet. Your
100%.
thoughts on having perps available in Rabby and Phantom at the same time now in the palm of your hand?
Yep. First off, I'm a big fan of Rabby for any EVM chains. It is my default wallet, 100.
Yes, sir.
Hands down.
Mine
Hands
too,
down.
yeah.
And perps, I also love perps, and indeed, power to the people. Give everybody everything that they want, and just let them play with it. Although, if you trade perps with like high leverage, and I would say high leverage is already like over 3x. I already consider relatively high. The chances of getting liquidated are sizable, substantial, especially if you don't really understand what you're doing. And so giving perps, especially 20 times leverage to a user base which might not be familiar with what it does and what it means. I do fear that we'll have some people not being very happy after losing all of their life savings. So from that perspective, I don't know. The accessibility part, I love it. I really love it. But bringing perps to uneducated investors is also a risk.
It is, sir. I should pay you for that segue.
And going, yeah, I mean, 100%. That's why I've never touched it. I mean, stuff like that, I've just always buy and held, so I'm one of those people that would press a button and I would lose my whole balance. So I just don't press those buttons. And I know what I do when I have it in my wallet, and I know how to sell it right then and there. And I just let it be. So,
yeah. But
I do want to shout out our friends at Symphony real quick. Just saying hello to Symphony, Chopin and Vivaldi and the King. Heads up to them. One of our members is doing really well in your trading competition, so treat them right. Go ahead, Mikkel.
Nice. Yeah. Just a fun fact for you, Kenneth. I opened an account on Glitch today to test it a bit, and it trades perps. It trades perps, fully organized by your system, your subnet.
Yeah,
onboarding has been very slick. So
hell yeah, nice to hear.
Kudos,
That's
kudos to you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm all for, as you see. I mean, I make a lot of videos on BitTensor subnets and projects, and heard a lot of good things about TPN too. So yeah, no, thanks for that. That's exciting.
Yeah, let's shill everything right now. I love it. So if you want to learn a little bit more about perps, you're interested in that, you think that's a very interesting, you don't know very much like it, much like Ken, who has access to our educational material, you can come over to Beacon DeFi, to Total Value Locked, our free group, to learn a little bit more about what we're doing with DeFi. So a couple things to consider specifically is that we have a lot of information about perp dexes in our introduction to DeFi section. And check out our Start Here post. You're more than welcome to check that out. Get a message from myself, our co-founder Andrew. Get access to some free content, as well as learn about what you can do to become part of the best with the Beacon Mastermind. You can also take the Beacon Challenge. You can earn your first dollar in DeFi within 48 hours. If you're interested in that offer, feel free to check that out. School.com/Beacon. Perp dexes are a really big part of what we do, mainly because when you're doing trading, it's a PvP environment, right? Player versus player. But one thing that most people don't know is you can actually join the environment, PvE and LP at perp dexes, and become part of the liquidity provision. And that's a really great way to do something that we love to do, which is make money off of other investors, the behavior of other investors specifically, through the LPs we do, through LPing at perp dexes, through concentrated liquidity, and multiple other mechanisms. I've counted at least 12 that we talk about inside of our group. If you want to learn more about that, you can do so absolutely free. Join us at school.com/Beacon. Well, guys, we got the scare of the year over the past over the last 24 hours. And I don't know how much you guys really saw about this. This is about another large supply chain attack. So a supply chain attack, for those who are not privy to this, if you think of your favorite piece of software, in most cases, if it's a web app, it's made up of other pieces that help make it work, right? They have their basic part, but then they may bring in a styling library so it looks a specific way, or they use for error logging or anything like that. They use different things, because one thing I can tell you as a university professor, and I teach people how to become competent programmers, it's great to learn to program things, but frankly, someone's already programmed something that you're thinking of using, and they've done it at a much higher level. So that's why it's fine to create boilerplate projects with information that's already in there, because in most cases it's tried and tested and true. Well, unfortunately, in this case, a supply chain attack is attacking one of those established libraries that you would use, and it came because the developer got phished through an email, a really obvious email, if you're asking me. And why he decided to do that, and he's very embarrassed. Everyone makes mistakes, but man, this is as bad as the left pad incident, where literally left pad uses a function, can pad a string of characters a certain amount of spaces from the left. Once that went down, it hit like 100 million projects on NPM, which is the Node.js package management system. So this one was interesting because this specific exploit went after monitoring Web3 wallets, specifically anything EVM related. It asked for MetaMask, and then if there was no MetaMask, it would actually tie on and just watch, looking to steal any type of private keys that it could, if it could. That made it a lot more dangerous, using fetch and stuff like that. So we did, out of precaution, tell our group, our communities, to not use the blockchain for a good, we said up to the day, but it could have been up to 6 to 12 hours as a precaution. Thankfully, because there's so many quick eyes were on it, I saw multiple security experts on this within 15 minutes of when it happened, because a couple of builds failed, I believe. So that caused a huge alarm based on once they saw what the payload was. And it went nowhere, thankfully. It looks like the supply chain attack stole 5 cents overall, that is primo stuff. That's very good. It was actually quite scary at how it was able to do it, because it used a fairly novel method. It's not here. There's a Substack I have on our community post to really talk about it. I'll pull it up here, actually, because we talked about it here. And I knew about it within 30 minutes of when it happened. I posted immediately to our community. So just know that one thing that we do with regards to our community is we're on top of things. We try and keep you as safe as possible. Yeah, what was interesting is that it used transaction hijacking, and then it used something called the Levenstein distance to try and figure out similar addresses, this was the new thing, to figure out based on regex, regular expressions. Anyway, I'm going too deep into it. Thankfully, most people hadn't updated to it, and once they did, there's already a new package that came out, so they just upgraded over it. So thankfully, we didn't really get any real big issues to this. So kudos to everybody sounding the alarm bells, all of this going out. That's the beautiful thing about being in this space, is that code is law, and whenever something hits the system, it gets battle tested and improved and hardened afterwards. So hopefully we won't see this again, but it is a good reminder for things we told our community. Always know what you sign. And if you ever watch any of our workshops, we are very specific that when you're going to approve a transaction, check the smart contract that you're signing to. Make sure that it has been deployed for more than 3 to 7 days, that it's whitelisted to the protocol it's being used for. You're more than welcome to check out one of our trainings that are available for free from our Friday training on our Twitter. So, Mikkel, you're a developer. Any thoughts on that before I get to Ken?
Yes. One quick caveat: I'm not a developer.
Sorry about that.
I'm a somewhat technical guy that is
Yeah.
that is not a developer. But yeah, it's also one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of Rabby over, and maybe MetaMask does it now. I'm not sure, but to the very least, even if the website is giving other information to Rabby to make the transaction, on Rabby you'll see the actual transaction and the actual contract and the plus minus balances. And then if you are using some sort of a hardware setup, which I always recommend, or always for most use cases I recommend, you can still verify the transaction hash with Rebby and then also your hardware wallet. So even if the web interface is under attack and like malicious transactions are being ported to your Web3 wallet, you should still be able to catch them if you are at least in like some sort of how do you say it? Like you should always try when you make a transaction to not do it as quickly as possible as if you're like buying bananas in a grocery store. But if you make an on-chain transaction, verify what you're transacting at multiple points before you hit the confirm button, because once you hit the confirm button, it's done, right? There's no like taking it back. Yep. So that was one more word of caution from
Yeah.
me.
So I have an example of one of our guides that we provide to our mastermind group about some of the things. So this is what I was talking about when you're going to sign it. This is the beautiful thing about Rabby. They give you all of this information to let you know about all this. So Ken, I know you're a developer, brother. Give me your quick thoughts so we can move on.
Yeah, I'm not a trader, but I'm a developer. But this is one of the scary things is like you were saying, we use, the web is built off of different people's products. Why would I build a library when someone else has built it? But with that, sometimes we don't know, and we should take great care of what we're installing. So this was, and the web is literally built off of JavaScript, which npm, which what this hack kind of was injected through, is a library, is a resource that kind of keeps all these JavaScript packages in which we can use to build upon, almost like Legos. So when you install these packages, you can see the list, although it goes pretty quickly. We just got to take great care in what we're building as a developer. And yeah, this was scary, but it's nice that we caught it pretty quickly. And just another warning of how careful we got to be when we're building products for, a lot of developers don't have malicious intent, but that just takes one person to, hit a registry like NPM, and that can be dished out to a lot of people. So
Exactly. So yeah, like I said, I have this. We talk about this all the time in our group. Security is critical point number one for us. Stay safe, max protection of wealth, max gains. I want to make sure we have plenty of time to talk to Mikkel about the new things at TPN. I just wanted to say I got to keep a promise. I told Mars I would. Where am I? I told Mars I would actually I would put this out here for him. So Hyperliquid has gone crazy for the last week because they're talking about having a native, pardon me, USDH stablecoin. Now, Hypercore has USDC natively as the actual currency to use on there. Could they switch to this USDH stablecoin? Yeah, probably. And I have it on good word that this is definitely going to happen. So it's a matter of who's going to be the caretaker. And the last week has been nuts. Athena, Paxos, VanEx via Agora, Sky, Frax. I see Bastion here and some others, all pitching documents to the groups, even grinding roles in Discord to be able to talk about what they're going to be doing. I'll make sure to put this in the show notes as well as on the tweet with regards to thanking our guests for being here. Do check this out from Mars. Follow Mars at Mars_DeFi. This is a really great summary of all the different things that each of these groups are going to be pitching to have USDH as their product that they're bringing to, what's going on. I think Paxos and Athena have the best chance, to be quite honest. It looks like Athena's got the inside track because they're Genius compliant, but for people who are decentralization maxis, that's also something they're a little scared of. So Paxos has been doing this for decades. They know exactly what they're doing here. I think Paxos gets the nod. That's just me personally, but we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and move on to Mikkel again. Thank you, Mikkel, for being here today as our featured panelist. And let's talk about the updates that we have here at the Tau Private Network. So we've had you on before talking about this briefly. Let's have a quick talk about what you're doing with it now.
Yep. So for everybody that doesn't know yet, that didn't listen to the previous podcast, shame on you. But I'll happily pitch TPN again. Tau Private Network is subnet 65 on BitAnswer, and we have built a commoditization layer for IP addresses, which sounds very fancy, but it's basically a way of saying that TPN offers IP connections for VPN tunnels. So I assume most of you are familiar with VPN applications like NordVPN or Surfshark or Proton VPN. They help you a lot. Also in crypto, they help you get access to resources that might otherwise not be available in your jurisdiction, maybe for perp trading or maybe for watching Netflix. That's up to you. And TPN sort of consists of two parts, where the subnet is a developer-friendly API-based system where any developer with basic knowledge about VPNs can use our API to request IP connections. And the various use cases we hope, and I would like to invite anybody listening that is willing to try using the API for developing an application. We, as the Tau Private Network team, will ship a line of flagship products for consumer-grade VPN applications. And it will be cross-platform, so it'll be on Mac, it'll be on Android, it'll be on iOS, and then Windows will probably follow a bit later. We do have the Mac OS application out there in beta. So if you are interested in helping us snoop around, maybe providing some feedback, or if you really like it, just give us a tweet, give us a follow. And I see that we have.
I do have it up on this. I have it here on the screen because I am a full disclosure. I am a tester of this app, and I think it's great. I think it looks great. Fun fact is, you during the testing period, you do only get a short amount of time to lease the TPN connection for a little bit amount of time. So what's going into that specific choice for that out of curiosity?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And the app in the current beta form is made for testing. And since the API is currently still free on BitAnswer, anybody could hypothetically spam the network and take up all the connections, and then the network would be satisfied, meaning that a new user coming in can't connect to TPN. So to make sure that we didn't get let's say, sticky sessions connecting, forgetting to disconnect, and then finding the limits of the current subnet infrastructure, the beta app contains windows for 1 hour, for a couple of hours max. But and we've seen quite a lot of people posting about this on Twitter, saying, "Bro, you shouldn't make this decision. I just want to connect and keep it open." Yes, you're 100% right. And when the beta is removed and when the app is just shipped in production, we will have an indefinite timing window where you can connect forever. So it is a design decision for testing. It will not actually be in the production application.
How long is the testing window going to be, you think?
So we have two things going there. Testing for the application itself is going really well. We've managed to iron out some inconsistencies, both in the front end and also in the back end. And then in order to have it out on the market production ready, we're still working on 2 integrations. One is the payment rails for the developer API. Because like I said, if we do go to production, we have to be somewhat spam resistant. And the easiest way to do so is to make the API on the developer side payable using a standard credit system, similar to like an OpenAI or something else, where you pay, let's say, $100, you receive a whole bunch of credits, and then the developer pays for user sessions. But one very important thing to note is that it's up to the developer how they then want to build the user. So let's say if Beacon DeFi wants to give a perk to its users, free VPN for 3 months, that's fine. We could then come to an arrangement where your users don't pay, so you'd have it without a paywall. But the Beacon DeFi application developer does still have to pay for the API credits.
Right.
Because the API credits, they are being used to buy back the alpha token from the subnet to make sure that we have enough incentives for the miner pool to keep improving themselves, to make sure that they are incentivized to provide robust infrastructure for the IP connections themselves. And then on a bit deeper technical level, due to BitAnswer constraints, mostly on the miner pool. So there's a fixed number of miners every subnet can currently have. And due to how VPNs and IP infrastructure works, every miner in the current state can only offer 255 IP connections, which means that we have a practical limit of around 65,000 IP connections that can currently be served by TPN. That limitation has been there for a while, but the lead dev, which also happens to be my brother, it's very nice. He's working on federating the miner pool, and the proof of concept for that should be done next week. And after federation, the individual miners basically become miner pools, where they then have sub-workers to offer IP connections, meaning that we can scale indefinitely. So then instead of going 65, 100, 200, we go from 65 to infinity. And then we are ready to go big, to go hard, to go global. And we should hypothetically, theoretically be speaking, power any VPN application that's already on the market. In addition to our flagship product, in addition to developers coming up with a whole new scale of ideas, maybe for web scraping, maybe for agents, maybe for proxying. I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to see what all of the creative and amazing devs will come up with. But from our side, after we have those 2 final developer tracks fleshed out, we are ready to scale.
Real quick before I ask about the mining operations, but can you let our audience know why do we need a decentralized VPN? Why not just use Nord or some of these other places that are around?
Yeah, to be very honest, it depends a bit who you ask. For people that are inclined to prefer a more decentralized option, it is a no-brainer to use TPN. But that is unfortunately only quite a small subset of the people on the planet. Most people don't really care too much. But I also think that they don't really care too much because they lack the understanding of what happens in centralized systems, which I understand, because I mean, you can't have knowledge about everything going on in the world. But some of the short points as to why TPN, or a decentralized VPN in this case, has advantages over a more centralized version is that we cannot physically do data logging. So some of the centralized VPNs, they might track what you're doing, they might have log files, and then they might share them, either asked or unasked. It can be law enforcement. It can also be Facebook, Google's, or any data analytics company just to make some profit. But since the subnet architecture is fully open source and the miners are directly supplying the IP connection to the user, we cannot do any tracking. even if the FBI calls us and says, "Look, give me all the logs." They're not there, not because we don't store them, but because we cannot store them. There are no logs, which is one, I think, idealistically speaking, very important point for decentralization over a centralized option. And then the second, which is a bit more easy to understand, is our IP base consists of a very large pool of individual miners, many of them residential, many of them in very weird locations. And if you do test out the VPN applications, you'll see that we basically have over 80 countries already supported. And due to how the miners work on Bitensor, the IP pools, they continuously refresh. Which translates to the internet not knowing that you are using a VPN. So the typical, after being abroad, connecting to a VPN and then going to Netflix saying, "Oh, haha, we see that you're using a VPN. We will not allow it." That's also not possible when using a decentralized VPN.
Yeah, that answers Susan's question on there. So, and I'm glad you answered it, because then that's the first question that a lot of people are going to ask. Are you still looking for miners?
Yes.
Okay.
So until Federation, we are looking for miners, but it's not a top priority. But after Federation, we are looking for a lot of miner pools, which in their turn can set up a custom worker base where they can work with multiple IP providers. And we hope to increase the quality of the federated miner pools to a very high level. So the answer is yes, we are 100% looking for miners.
Good to know.
Yeah, because
That's
this was
awesome.
something
Yeah.
when you were on last time, Mikkel, that we actually started testing, because this is something that I think for most people who don't have the resources or don't have the know-how to be a miner for other subnets, there's a fairly manageable barrier to entry to be one for TPN. So if you're looking for another, an easy way, not I'm going to say easy, but a good way to get in on, being a part of a network as a miner, TPN, in my opinion, is probably a really easy place to start, a better place to start. Right? I can't say easy because it's not easy, but we've already kind of gone through the initial parts of setting some stuff up to be miners at TPN. So, Ken, I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we wrap up.
I mean, this is the power of Bitensor, decentralizing many different things, not just AI, but this is awesome. And to your point, this seems like a easier, I'm a miner on other subnets. I just took a look at TPN's docs, and that's lower barrier of entry to get started on Bitensor, and this is actually something that's pretty awesome. So, man, I might just have to become a miner myself. So, yeah, this is great work you guys are doing. I've heard about you before. So awesome to actually be on call with you and actually chat with you. But this was nice to kind of hear your thoughts, and just took a look at the docs. And for anyone interested, this is a great way to get started on Bitensor. I think there's a lot of eyes on Bitensor right now for good reason. There's a lot of interesting things happening. This is one of them. So, yeah, more power to the Bitensor subnets, and love seeing this type of stuff.
Thank you for these amazing words, sir.
Quick question: who to talk to about mining? If you're curious about, I'll have Mikkel answer
that. Yep. I think the docs are very straightforward.
They are.
Luckily, they're well written and documented. But if you do still have questions about TPN mining, validating, or anything subnet, or basically anything crypto related, I should say, the easiest way to find us is in the Bitensor SN65's subchannel, where you can
on Discord.
On Discord, yes. Sorry, on Discord, where you can just drop the question. You don't even have to tag the team members. We're quite responsive, so somebody will pick it up relatively shortly. And if you're not on Discord, you can also send a message to the official Twitter handle.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I was having some issues specifically, and they were very responsive. And I want to say that was That was quite some time ago that I was looking into this. So, yeah, great group, great team, great group of people that are working at TPN, and yeah, really excited to see where this goes. I am testing out the Mac app. I am planning on becoming a miner in multiple ways. We can, if anybody's curious, you can ask me a question. I can tell you what our strategy is, but there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to easily earn back your ROI on this, in my personal opinion, and contribute to a greater good, which is making sure that not one company owns VPN. Because, little fun fact, the company that owns Nord Express and all of them, they're all the same company. So there's a lot of monopolization in the VPN space, and I don't use them. I use Mozilla specifically and Proton. There are multiple different places you can go to, to not buy into that, and not one company should own all of this, right? That's the whole reason why we're in DeFi. Your keys, your crypto, your miner, your TPN. That's the way I like to say it. So, thanks again,
Nice.
Mikkel, for being here. Please feel free to say any parting words before we head off to Ken here.
Thank you for having me. And parting words are use TPN. Use TPN either as a miner or as a user. Give us some feedback. Hop in the Discord to come say hi. And thanks for listening.
Yes, and follow them on Twitter. Follow all of our guests on Twitter. We'll have that also on just there on the notes on Twitter. If you use Twitter, you've probably already seen the announcement. My brother in code, Kenneth, Lord of DevRel at Taushi and Glitch Financial. Talk to me, brother. So let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you could find us at Taushi.io. I'm sure you've heard of us. Luke has been on. You can see the website here, Taushi.io, Glitch.financial. We're just combining, so similar to TPN, where they're combining a bunch of these miners for VPN. We're combining a bunch of miners, which are traders, aggregating all those trades into the best strategy. So check us out. I'm also pretty active. Funny enough, I talk about another, subnet, because subnets are, kind of all. You could do so many different things with it. One of the ways I produce videos to another subnet, subnet 93, Bitcast, and what we're trying to do is just help, bridge the gap between some of these subnets. So if you want to know more about different subnets or how BitTensor works, you can check me out on Twitter, Raleigh CA. I also have a YouTube, Raleigh CA. Funny enough, people are, like Raleigh CA. There's no Raleigh in California. I mean, I get it, but it's a weird username, I know. But and also Macau, I was in Groningen about a year ago. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but I had the best burger I've ever had in Groningen. So great little city. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I actually did my master's in energy science in Groningen, so I lived there for a bit.
Yeah, great
Very
little
cozy city.
Yeah,
very
very
cozy city.
Yeah,
I might have to go get that burger. I'm a big burger aficionado. So,
man. Well, next time we're in the Netherlands, we got to go.
We're going. Well, but before that, what was your favorite burger
of all time?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Whoa. I mean, well, we got several places here in Durham, North Carolina that I really like, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Shake Shack if you just want like a quick win.
Look at you.
I mean, I think it's better than In-N-Out. I think better than Five Guys. I mean, Shake Shack that's a top burger right there.
Well, I'll tell you my favorite. It is the Shake Shack green chili burger at the Shake Shack in Denver. They're the only place that has it. They're the only Shake Shack that has it.
Man,
so if you want to, next time you eat Denver, the Shake Shack chili double cheeseburger, green chili double cheeseburger is top notch. Otherwise, basic chains. I know that I'm not talking about specific restaurants, but I don't think you can go backwards from a Culver's bacon double cheeseburger. That's
a good burger.
Bacon double butter burger is what they're called.
Yeah. We have a Culver here in North Carolina, like
yes,
one of the first ones. And man, that burger slaps.
All right, and now I'm making myself hungry, and we're way over time. So, guys, if you like what you're hearing, please like and subscribe. Please follow our guys here on the panel. Please check us out, school.com/Beacon. It's absolutely free to join. Thanks to all our Beacon Mastermind founding members. Thanks to all our Beacon Mastermind members and our challengers who are in the system helping make what we do possible. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys. And we'll see you this time. Actually, Friday free training, our Beat the Banks training. I'm having Luke from Taoshi on because we're going to talk about a very special project that Luke's involved with, same with Ken,
You'll want to
on
check that one
Friday.
out.
You're going to want to check that one out. That's Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll have it streaming to the same places you're watching this show on now. Otherwise, check us out next Tuesday for our Twitter space. We have On Air with Beacon. That happens every Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're going to hopefully have McCallum or someone from his team on one of those future ones to talk more about TPN as they start moving forward. But thanks for joining us today, guys. Please follow, like, and subscribe. Follow our guys. Follow our panelists. And we'll see you next week, as we say here. Beacons up. Banks down.
Bye.
Hey.
Take care, everybody. Don't leave just yet, panelists. And I was going to totally have outro music today. Man.